What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, joined at the hip, or the toe for that matter, with
Gershwan.
And today we're back to answer more questions from you guys in another conjoined twin-esque video on For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, just comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And that is where Werewolf Pirate did. He asks. Sorry. What if one of the lost Primarchs and his legion was sent to another galaxy to prepare for the Emperor?
Yeah, that's an interesting theme, and it's a very directed question, but the grander scale is what exactly is going on with the lost and the forgotten legions, the 2nd and the 11th, because we have very little to go off of, and it seems like GW has basically given their writers almost creative freedom to write whatever they want about them, because certain things make sense, but then you read another Horus Heresy book and it's like, well, this contradicts what was said in the other one, so it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, and they're purposefully vague. From the beginning, I thought it was just so that you, the player, you can homebrew your own Primarch. You can create your own leader of a legion. You can create your own gene seed flaw, all that kind of cool stuff. But as time has gone on, I think it's become more of a narrative hook to show that, hey, the Primarchs, they had a reason why they turned against the Emperor. Besides the fact that, Chaos promised more, or Chaos was very, tempting. No, the Emperor...
It's kind of at fault.
Yeah, he obliterated the two legions and said nobody's going to remember their name, blah, blah, blah. So right now it seems like it's serving that purpose of, showing the Emperor in a bad light.
Right. Because, like you were talking about, the way... It wasn't necessarily Chaos that kind of forced a lot of Primarchs' hand. Like for Angron, the Emperor took him at his time of need, and because of that, all of his friends and comrades, the gladiators, died. There's nothing that Angron could do, and the Emperor could have easily saved and made all that not happen.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with Magnus, he could easily have just told all of his sons what's going on. There'd be no need for Magnus to break into the throne room, allowing demons and whatnot to spill into Terra. All of this could have been prevented.
Yeah. But then again, so when you're homebrewing or when you're creating your own Lost Primarch theories, I think you have to keep that in mind. No, you don't have to, but it would
make
nice.
Sense, yeah.
So by you saying was one of the lost Primarchs in another galaxy and he's prepping for the Emperor? Probably not, just because the Emperor seemed to he did something bad to these two lost Primarchs.
Right, because it makes no sense for him to send out his legions outside of the galaxy when his main goal was to help humanity here and now in this galaxy.
Yeah, for the Great Crusade.
Right, and you got to think about the Edict of Obliteration. That was the biggest, most devastating thing he could have done. Why didn't he do it with the other Primarchs? Like when Lorgar was preaching the Lectitio Divinatis, why didn't he just obliterate that legion?
Yeah.
So this goes to show you that whatever did happen to the 2nd and the 11th, it was top of the line, some heavy shit for him to say, nope, you guys are gone from history.
Yeah. And then also another thing too, when you're creating your own hooks for either a homebrew chapter or a Primarch, try to make them relevant to what's happening in the story now. To say that a Primarch is in a completely different galaxy is like saying he's in a completely different universe.
Right, you're never gonna see him, hear about him. Nothing pertains to the here and now.
Yeah, the change that the lore that you're creating has to have something that is that interacts with the rest, or is because of the rest of the lore that already exists.
Because now you got to flesh out a whole new galaxy of stuff that hasn't been incorporated into the 40K lore.
Then you're just making stuff
up,
which is cool, because there's a guy who did that where he rewrote basically the entire Horus Heresy. And yes, you can do that. It's awesome. It's really badass. But you could also say he went into the Feywild. You could start bringing it, or he went into the Star Wars universe. And so it's kind of the same. But yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Will we ever find out what happened to the Primarchs? Probably not.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
If you guys want to know what I think happened to one of those Primarchs, I do have a whole playlist on the Celestial Sons and their Primarch, Alec Elric, for the 11th Legion. And I'm also working on the 2nd Legion now.
And that's the cool thing about that is, like, if you watch that playlist, you get to see the interactions, because, spoiler alert, like, they interact with Xenos, they interact with, like, all this other kind of stuff, which is cool.
Next question?
Next question, yes.
Did we answer his question?
Yeah.
What if they went to... Yeah. What if they went to a galaxy?
Yeah, what if...
What if? This next one is by Erock9. What's the coolest gene seed? Say you're in line at a Portillo's and you notice Fabius Bile is in front of you guys, saying he forgot his wallet and can't pay you. You spot him $20 and later he gifts you with the gene seed injection of your choice. No surgery needed. Which do you pick? And you can't change your day jobs. Also, no Ultramarines or Grey Knight gene seed.
Wait, so, like, so gene seed organ or the gene seed, like, the gene seed organ? Because, like, there's a gene seed organ that gets implanted into,
Right.
like, that, or the back of the head, right? And then that just makes you kind of, like, cognitive, like, superpower, and makes all the other ones work together. And then there's, like, the individual ones, like, the one that lets you spit.
Right. I would assume, since he said no Ultramarines or Grey Knights, that he means, like, you're essentially becoming a Space Marine of a certain chapter.
Oh, overall.
Overall, yeah. So you get, like, the spitting, the black carapace, you get all that.
But you also get the flaws.
The flaws, yeah, or the benefits, however you want to see it.
Yeah. I would want to do probably Emperor's Children, because that would be pretty.
Yeah. Also, you're more susceptible to Slanesh, I guess you could say.
Yeah, perfection.
Perfection. You want to be the best blade master, the best lore master.
And I don't have that. I'm very lazy.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool to go ahead and inject me with the 1,000 Sun gene seed.
Magic.
Right. Become a psyker.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I should have chosen that one, because then it's like unlimited possibilities.
Now, the thing that kind of sucks is, like, you're kind of screwed, because, like, back then there was different cults that you could be in and have a certain, not discipline, but, like, specialty when it comes to that psychic ability. But I guess if you're just getting random.
Yeah, and then also, though, like, I think you have to specialize in like, a certain, what are they called? School.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
Yeah.
And you can't, because it's not like, because this is a real time.
Yeah.
It's just Fabulous Biles is there. Fabulous Bill. Yeah, Portillo's.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah. And I'd be okay with the negatives of that.
Of the, yeah. Well, Chaos Spawn. Turning into a Chaos Spawn.
Hey.
Yeah.
I just got to be careful as to, ask enough, but not too much.
Next question.
Miguel Perez. Could Terminator and Artificer armor, for example, the Sanguinary Guard of the Blood Angels, be refitted and modified for Primaris? Kind of. Like, they have their own versions of, like, Terminator armor, like the Aggressors. The Heavy Intercessors is kind of like Terminator armor. But as far as I know, Artificer armor for the Sanguinary Guard has not been made yet. But again, you could just say it's like, you could scratch build it, green stuff, make it look cool in the actual tabletop.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult when you're doing that, or when you're thinking about that kind of stuff, because by their nature, all that type of armor is supposed to be very, very unique and very rare.
Right.
But everybody on the tabletop has it. So it's like,
Right, because it's hard to make sanguinary armor in this day and age when, like, it was created during the Heresy era.
Right, yeah.
And before.
Next question comes from C_P_. With the new Adeptus Custodes and Tyrannid Gene Stealer box set coming out, there's a box set coming out?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, those are the two confirmed codices. Yeah, Gene Stealer cults and Custodes.
No new minis, though, right?
One each.
Do we know yet?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like that. It's just like a commander, right?
Right, it's like a regular commander for the Custodes, and it's a demolition expert for the Gene Stealer cults. If you guys want to learn more, I got videos on them. He hasn't seen them.
No. He goes to say, wouldn't the Tyrannids be more power once they are able to consume a part of a whole dead custodian? Or will there be custodians will just get wiped the whole Gene Stealer cult on Terra without losing a brother. So I guess you're saying like Gene Stealers versus the Adeptus Custodes, who would win? And I think the answer is the Adeptus Custodes.
Yeah. When I saw this box set come out, lore-wise, it didn't make sense because it's like, it's almost like saying Imperial Guard against the Custodes. Like, dude, these guys are leagues above them. But they fight with like hit and run tactics. They sabotage things. And they've infiltrated Terra. So that goes to show you that they're not to be taken light of.
Yeah.
There are Gene Stealer cults on Terra, lore-wise, that's been confirmed, and we've seen it here in the box set.
Yep.
But to answer your question, Gene Stealer cults don't work like normal Tyranids, where if they kill somebody, they don't outright send that DNA to the hive mind. They're more of like a scouting force, where they'll make the planet ready for the Tyranid fleets to arrive and then create all their bio attacks.
But a loss is really important.
Yes.
So like if a cult member dies, it's not just like whatever. Unless it's like a lowly, like, who cares? And like the whole theme is supposed to be insurgents.
Yes.
Like it's supposed to be a rebellion. So like that's why you have so many like homebrew, like it's like the Russian or the Soviet Union style Gene Stealer cult, or like the Cuban guerrilla warfare cult, stuff like that. Where like it's very important when these things die. So they have to play smart in order to win. And it actually, like, if you think about it, it's perfect, because whenever it's a revolution, because it's usually like the underdog versus like the American Empire,
Yeah,
or
the already
British
established
Empire.
power.
Yeah. So having these gods basically going up against these cult members, it should have really interesting scenarios.
And not just that, but gameplay wise, the Custodes are going to be outnumbered. So you got to use your numbers to your advantage if you are the Gene Stealer cults.
Yeah. I recently watched Eternals, and I'm gonna spoil the plot of Eternals, so I hope you guys don't mind or stop listening. Oh wait, you're gonna watch it.
No, go ahead. I've
mind.
seen spoiler-free stuff, so I guess I kind of know what to expect. But go ahead.
No, we'll talk about it next week.
All right.
But there's a whole like
Gene Stealer cult
tangent thing, going on. I was like, oh, that's kind of very similar.
I'm going to assume that one of them is like a deviant or something.
A deviant?
Isn't that like their whole, like, we can't interfere unless there's deviants or some stuff? That's why they didn't attack Thanos or anything like that. Ultron.
Yeah. Kind of. We'll talk about it more next week.
Gotcha.
I hope you guys watch it. It's not a good movie, but it's also not a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's just like Dune.
There you go.
Dune, like, the funniest thing about Dune is that everybody keeps saying that it was just a Zendaya commercial for her perfume.
I thought she was going to have such, like, a more pertinent and bigger role.
Nope.
Yeah, she was barely there.
Yeah. She basically just serves for, like, I don't what is her purpose? We don't know, right?
I guess she's going to teach him the ways of, like, her people or
Freeman.
something. Yeah.
The Fremen.
Something like that.
But yeah. Next question.
Puby SB. On a 1v1 basis, who would come out on top between a knight and a dreadnought? Let's say a Furioso dreadnought versus a Castellan knight. Keep it up, guys. Yeah, we keep it up for about 4 hours. After that, we got to seek professional help.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so a Castellan knight is pretty powerful. They've got shields, they've got heavy weaponry. They're not piloted by Space Marines, though. Whereas the Dreadnought is a injured Space Marine that couldn't function independently, so now he's basically interred into a sarcophagus of hatred and fury. I gotta give it to the Knight. Bigger, in my opinion, stronger weapons. So I think the Knight takes this. But hey, I'm gonna say the Knight takes it 6 out of the 10 times they fight.
That's true, yeah. We have to do that with most of these, like, versus videos. Sorry for the hounds. Because it usually is, like, sometimes they would win, but there's always that chance that the other person might win.
Right, and that's both lore and on a tabletop.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the tabletop, the dice can totally screw you over. And in the lore, like, It depends who's writing it.
Yeah.
Like if it's a novel where you're looking at the Blood Angel side, then of course the Furioso Dreadnought would win.
Next question comes from Andre Nietzsche. What do the Adeptus Mechanicus think about Tau technology? They see it as primitive, but low-key they're jealous.
Yeah. It's like, it's primitive, but these guys did this in like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think.
Also, it's all AI.
Yeah.
And it's AI that hasn't, like, destroyed them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a chip on the shoulder of all the Martian priesthood to be like, damn, the Men of Iron basically wrecked our entire civilization. You guys are just chilling, expanding your civilization with AI. So
Maybe they're just like, give it a couple hundred years, then they'll revolt.
yeah. I wonder if they would, though. I wonder if GW would do that. Like, let's give the Tau Empire a Men of Iron scenario.
That's true, yeah.
And then it becomes its own faction, and it would be like a drone faction.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
But then you're taking away one of the best things that the Tau have going for them.
You could still use some drones.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah,
I
I guess
mean,
it
yeah.
depends.
Because it would depend, like, the levels of actual intelligence, like low AI versus high AI or something.
And all of the battle suits are still piloted by
Mm-hmm.
Tau Fire Warriors, so.
Right.
Is it Fire Warriors or the Aircast?
No, they're Fire Warriors.
Yeah.
Aircast do vehicles, Fire Warriors do the battle suits.
Battle suits. Next question.
Timothy Armstrong. How do all the Warhammer 40K factions deal with cannibalism? Because I don't hear about it very much.
That's actually a good question. Humanity probably deals with it the same way that we do. Like, you're not supposed to do it based on, like, the Imperial rules and laws. But there's still feral worlds that obviously practice it. And there are some sanguinary cults that kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, you're drinking the blood of humans, yeah.
Right.
As far as the orcs eat each other. It's called orcoid pies. It's basically like a cheeseburger, which I don't know why they call it a pie, but it's like a cheeseburger of...
Orc bits.
Yeah.
Squig buns. Squig off meat. That kind of stuff.
Lettuce.
Yeah. Kroot, they practice it, and it's normal for them.
Mm-hmm.
The Tau, they don't do any of that. The Ethereals don't like it.
Eldar, probably not.
No, maybe like the not Craft World. The
Dark Eldar.
Dark Eldar, maybe the Exodites.
Yeah. I feel like the Dark Eldar for sure would do it, just because that is hedonistic, like, kinks.
Mm-hmm.
It's my kink to bite you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this homunculus is immortal? Let's see him when I eat him up.
Mm-hmm. And then the Nids, they kind of already do it.
That's their big thing. Necrons, they don't need to eat. Son mecánicos.
Yeah.
Adeptus mechanicus.
Yeah.
Skitari, the Admech, they don't do that either.
They also don't have to eat.
Yeah, flesh is weak.
Yes. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, pretty
Space
much.
Marines don't really eat each other, but they could, because then they gain the memories of whatever they ate, which is a thing that just, there's so much lore that you could be written about that.
Mm-hmm.
It never is.
No.
Next question. This is going to be the last question by Aeroc9. Belisarius Call versus Fabius Bile. Who's smarter? I'm going to give it to Fabius Bile.
Yeah, because he's not being held back by anything. Well, I guess Call isn't, like, but you could say that...
Humanity.
Yeah.
His own human nature pulls him back.
Mm-hmm. With Belisarius, it's, like, he has clones and stuff like that, so I guess he could do more, because Bile is just one person, but Bile can just call up Slaanesh and be like, hey, let me do some experiments on that demonette or something.
Yeah, I think, like, the fact that he's a Space Marine... and then he's empowered by gods, pushes him to another level that, like, Belisarius Call tries to reach, but no amount of machine is going to be able to do that.
Right. And not just that, but during the War of the Spider, you've seen that Fabius Bile has some, like, custodies that he's been working on, Primarchs that he's been working on, so I'm hoping when the 9th edition Codex drops for the Chaos Space Marines, we get to see something with that.
We don't have Tau, we don't have Tyranids, we don't have Chaos.
Mm-mm.
What else don't we have? I feel like we don't have a lot then.
Yeah, there is quite a bit.
Dark Eldar, we already got,
That was
right?
like one of the first ones, yeah.
Craft World?
Eldar, no, we don't have any Eldar yet.
That's crazy, man. GW needs to pick up their stuff. I really thought that we would get, like, 10th edition by now.
Oh, I feel like 10th edition might come 2023.
Maybe, if that.
Yeah. Because we still got to put all these codices out, and then we got to like play it, and I'm pretty sure they're going to put some type of campaign book, and then 10th edition. But 10th edition's got to be big. It's the big 1-0.
Yeah. Hopefully we get all of the Primarchs back.
Nah.
Hope so.
At least one more.
And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk tomorrow.
That's right. This has been The Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out.
Oh, I did the